Welcome to the quick hitter version of Buckets, Boards, and Blocks. I'm Monica McNutt alongside my co-host, King McClure. This week on the show, let me get this right. I need to look at my notes. Our featured discussion is with Jose Paneda, the Spanish language voice of the Miami Heat. And he talks about the organizational stability that makes the Heat franchise such an incredible organization.
When I look at the Heat, it kind of looks like a bunch of guys who've been overlooked, a bunch of guys who were underrated. Like when you look at Kendrick Nunn not getting drafted, Tyler Herro leading the NBA in the bubble in points, but nobody really talked about him as far as rookies and all that. Looking at Jimmy Butler, I think he's a emerging superstar, but nobody really talks about him in those conversations. Do you think that plays a role into this team's mindset and how they go out and really try to, they play so gritty with a chip on their shoulder?
Well, it all has to do, and you've heard this word a lot, and it has to do with the culture. And it has to do with Pat Riley and the DNA of this team. As Pat Riley and Spoelstra always say, this team is not for everybody. Jimmy Butler may not be for everybody, but Jimmy Butler is for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat is for Jimmy Butler. And like Jimmy, so many other players, and like a Kendrick Nunn, and like a Derrick Jones Jr., and like Duncan Robinson, and like so many others that have come before that Heat have molded, that Heat have put into their G League program and have developed in a way in the summers, and give the players credit as well to be able to sacrifice so much and to know that at the end of the rainbow there is some gold. And you see now what that happens with these players that, again, were not drafted, were overlooked, but Miami found something that was always a diamond in the rough. And that all goes to the credit to the Heat coaching staff, to, again, the structure that is the Miami Heat. And this has been going on for some time since Pat Riley arrived here 25 years ago. It's incredible to say that Pat Riley has been with the Miami Heat now for 25 years. But you got guys in the back like Anthony Mason, Bruce Bowen, Ike Austin. I mean, these are guys that came here that either were in dire need for help because they were in trouble somewhere else, became better with the Heat, and developed maybe with the Heat. Again, that they were not stars, they were undrafted. A guy like Udonis Haslem is a perfect example. 17 years in the league, 3 championships. I mean, his pedigree is incredible. And again, a guy who was in France, who was overweight, who couldn't make it in the NBA, undrafted. So again, there's a pattern here, and it has to do with the Heat structure and the Heat culture. And every year we have guys that are getting better. And right now we got 4 guys that are not playing. They're inactive every night. But these are the future, maybe Adebayos or Derrick Jones Jr.'s or Duncan Robinson's, or for the team, or Kendrick Nunn, who came in second for Rookie of the Year. So again, it's a system. The system works, and if you have discipline, and if you have again the professionalism that this team has, and that the players have that want to become stars, this is the place for you.
So when you look at this team, a team that's been overlooked in a sense, and then you look at the team with LeBron, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, a team who had the best players in the league at that time, what similarities do you see between the two?
Well, it's first of all, what I give credit to is Spoelstra, that has been able to coach a team with superstars, with all 5 of them, all type A1 personalities, mega personalities, which is very, 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 very difficult to do. And now a team that maybe does not have that many A-type personalities, but that needs direction, and that obviously Spoelstra has been able to focus in and to mold it the way, whatever is presented to him in terms of talent that was presented to him. So what I see is just the same determination, the same discipline, and it all starts out with Spoelstra. I mean, when you hear players, and again, he said it in probably, I'm not going to mention a future maybe Hall of Fame player, certainly an all-star that was here for many years, and he said, I have been through many, many, many teams in my career. He played almost 20 years in the NBA, and he says this team, like the Miami Heat, I've never been through anything like that in terms of what is available to them, the weight room, the process, the discipline. Again, it's just, it really doesn't change, King. It's always the same. If you fit in, you work. And if you listen to LeBron now, many of the quotes that he gives, the quotes that he learned or he adapted from either Pat Riley or Eric Spoelstra, exact same words, before practices, after practices, when you're facing challenges, when you're blocking out the noise, all these words, all these terminologies he learned from the Miami Heat. And he even said it when he left, this was like a university for him, right, Monica?
If you would like to hear more, check out the full version of Buckets, Boards, and Blocks with Monica McNutt and myself, King McClure, presented by Pure Hoops Media.